Oh god. All right. Taking punishment whilst training. This is a very controversial subject in martial arts, and it's something I've wanted to broach for a very long time. Simply because it's a complicated one. It's complicated because on one hand it is compulsory, but on the other hand it's also something that's exploited and abused, particularly with people actually only starting off training. Um, Taking shots is, as I said, it's something that basically is always present in martial arts because it has to be. It basically has to be. What you're training for is basically finding a way of protecting yourself in a certain situation, whether that certain situation be out on the street, whether that be in a boxing ring or a cage. It could be multiple places. But the point is that one question we keep getting all the time, particularly from people who are only starting off in martial arts, they come to us and they say, okay, I don't want to get hurt. And you can't really say to someone coming in the door, well, you're going to get hurt, just live with it. But on the other hand, you don't want that person to be deterred from actually training with you or with anybody else. It's a very difficult subject to actually look at, but let's look at it from this perspective. Okay, if you were a professional fighter, it would be very foolish of you to basically step into a ring or step into a cage without ever having experienced taking a shot. I mean, immediately your opponent's going to have the advantage because the second you feel that pressure of the shot, you're going to feel pain. Your body has to have a certain amount of resistance to the pain that comes with being hit. So you do actually have to practice this. You have to practice the feeling of actually getting hit. However, the majority of professional fighters will tell you they do not take the punishment that they take in the cage every day in the gym. They don't take that because obviously they want to avoid injury. They want to keep themselves in prime shape and they want to go ahead and win their fight. The other side to that is the majority of people who actually practice martial arts and various fight styles, are amateurs. A lot of them are doing it because they want to stay fit. They're doing it because they want to learn how to defend themselves. So, in a way, there's actually a very, very big risk for them when it comes to actually getting hurt because, you break your arm, you break your jaw, you could be out of work for a long time. The other thing that bothers me as well is that for a beginner, it's something that can be very, very easily abused. It bothers me an awful lot when I see some guys, they're black belts and they've got like white belts coming into their club and they are just beating them hell for leather. It's something that's very common. It's even common in our own art. Where does that actually come from? Mainly because one, the instructor wants to show off and show people how powerful he is. So what he'll do is he'll basically say to somebody, he'd say, put your arm out as if they're actually after throwing a punch, and he'd go, he'd hammer that arm, and then he'd probably follow through with a hammer shot or a punch. And my big issue with that is, for someone that's only starting off, they're not actually learning anything from that. There's no lesson in that. There's nothing educational about that. Plus, people can be misled into thinking that it's so important to be able to take a shot that they become negligent about what they're trying to achieve in the first place, which is good, solid technique. Now, no one in their right mind would actually advise you to block punches or knees or kicks with your face. No one in their right mind is actually going to advise that, simply because, in any confrontation, you're running the risk of potentially harming yourself for the rest of your life. So it's a very difficult subject because at the end of the day, you do have to have a certain level of tolerance for pain. Why? Because there's a very, very small chance that if you get into a fight, whether it be on the street or in the cage or in the ring, that you're not going to take a shot. You will get hit. You will get hit. That's something that we actually make the point of with our students all the time. You have to accept the fact that in a confrontation, you will get hit. But If you are training somewhere where it's compulsory for you to get hit without any kind of resistance, in other words, the instructor is telling you that you have to stand there willfully and let him actually hit you hard, I'm sorry, you're in a bad place. You're in a very bad place. I would advise that you get out of there, because that is not the way martial arts is supposed to be practiced. You're supposed to be learning. As black belts, you're always, even though you might be teaching, you're still learning yourself. There's always something new to be learned, and it's important for instructors to basically advise people and guide people in the right way. So yes, it's important to build up a level of tolerance to striking. It's very important that you do build up a level of tolerance, but at the same time, it's not something that should be abused. It should never actually be abused. So, we hope you found this information useful. Please consider clicking the subscribe button down below, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.